Welcome to VLearn. This is session number 2 on software quality and testing on chapter Introduction to Software Testing. In this session, we are going to cover topics: importance of testing, hurdles of testing, testing fundamentals, inspections and walkthroughs, code inspection, and error checklist for inspection. Here the importance of testing is a critical element of software quality assurance. We are covering here the topic importance. हम testing को क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, जैसे कि पिछले सेशन आपको बताया कि what is testing and the purpose of testing, problem arises. Now the what is here importance of testing. The some points are mentioned in front of you slide, but the some basic about the importance of testing is that testing activity cannot be eliminated in the life cycle, as end product must be bug free and reliable one. So it imagine a situation where a person balance in the account reduced without withdrawing. A wrong mark card reaches the student, which may spoil student career. So testing must be integral part of system development, and this process cannot be eliminated. So the testing is important as because testing is a critical element of software quality assurance. Post release removal of defect is most expensive and significant portion of life cycle effort expended on testing. So for example, here you can take Microsoft tester to develop ratio, the testing 1:1, then where's the NASA test, again their ratio 7:1. So to make the integral part of the quality assurance to provide the best result. So next is here hurdles in testing. Hurdles is basically problems. क्या problems arise होती हैं? So there are some hurdles that's normally encountered are the usually late activity in the project life cycle. Project life cycle means contain the starting to end point of testing. आप जो स्टार्टिंग की टेस्टिंग प्लानिंग से शुरू करके एंड तक एंड करते हैं, उस पूरे प्रोसेस को हम प्रोजेक्ट लाइफ साइकिल बोलते हैं. सो देयर इज यूजली लेट इन एक्टिविटी. अगर हमारे प्रोसेस ही लेट होता है तो दैट क्रिएट द सम प्रॉब्लम. सो नो कॉन्क्रीट आउटपुट एंड देयरफॉर difficult to measure the value addition. No concrete output adds to the required, that if not get, the problem arises here. Lack of historical data. Recognition of importance is relatively less. Politically damaging as you are challenging the developer. Delivery commitments. Too much optimism that the software always work correctly. So these are the problems that can be arises. जैसे कि आपको बताया कि अगर कुछ ज़्यादा सॉफ्टवेयर में हमारे वर्क करेक्टली नहीं किया गया है, एरर्स ज़्यादा हैं, दैट कैन अराइज. डिलीवरी हमारी जो कमेंट है वो फेल हो जाती हैं अगर आप क्वालिटी प्रोवाइड नहीं करते हैं. सो देयर आर सब प्रॉब्लम्स. सो डिफेक्ट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज हेयर इन दिस द टिपिकल प्रोजेक्ट लाइफ साइकिल. Testing is late activity. When the product is tested, the defect may be due to many reasons that I told you already. There are some reasons, and it may be either programming error or maybe defect in designing or defect as any stage in the life cycle. Life cycle, as I told you, the process from beginning to end, and the overall defect distribution is just shown in the figure like this here. This chart that represent here the 27% is the design here area, 7% is the code area, and 56% is the requirements, and the 10% is the other area. Basically in here defect distribution, they observe the most of the defect are at the requirement stage. You get it here, 56% is area covered in the requirement. The error can be arises here more, and because in this is because the requirement may not be understood properly, or requirement are keep changing when after coding or frequent changes in the requirement during development, which is the turn change in the design. So defect at the coding level is minimum because coding process is well understood and well defined. That first is the user requirement that can create the many problem, that is changes many times. That's why take the 56% where the most chances are there defects. That next is the 27% that affect the designing also. Then due to requirement that change some error that can be caused 27% in designing. And the very less percent is the coding, because if everything is very well, very clear, if requirement is clear, designing is very clear, then the coding is the very less number of chances to be error, and the 10% are to mark here others. Next is here the some testing fundamentals. In the testing fundamental, before to understand the process of software testing, it is very necessary to learn basic principle of testing. That is testing objective, testing information flow, and test case design. Let's see here testing objective. Testing is the process of executing a program with the intent of finding an error. A good test is one that has high probability of finding an error and that yields undiscovered error. हमारी अच्छी टेस्टिंग उसी को कहलाई जाती है जिसमें हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एरर कवर करते हैं, till those error also which are not covered many times by the many users, if that is also covered by the another person, so maximum number of error ultimately find is the called the good testing. And the some also objective was the previously, can you say testing process can be executing program with the intent of finding error as previously said, and good testing with the high probability of finding error. Next is here test information flow. Test information flow, basically testing is complex process and require effort. Similarly, so to the software development, here the typical as test information is given in front of you, the slide, the diagram that represent software configuration, means the changes that apply. So test configuration, it apply the testing. When the changes are done, the result is finally evaluation. When expected result, then the final evaluation. After that evaluation, the error report, that rate of data is reliability model, and the error and that can be debugged. The error is done removed by the debugging, as we already told you in the previous slides. And after debugging, we find and correct the maximum number of error, and reliability model that predict the reliability. So this was the test information flow. Basically this figure that show the सॉफ्टवेयर कॉन्फ़िगरेशन इंक्लूड द सॉफ्टवेयर रिक्वायरमेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन. जैसे कि आपको यहाँ पे बताया गया, सॉफ्टवेयर कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में क्या होता है, जो हम चेंजेस करते हैं या जो सभी सॉफ्टवेयर की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, स्पेसिफिकेशन है, डिज़ाइन है, सोर्स कोड है, दीज आर हेयर. एंड द टेस्ट कॉन्फ़िगरेशन इंक्लूड द टेस्ट प्लान एंड प्रोसीजर, टेस्ट केसेस एंड टेस्टिंग टूल्स. It is difficult to predict the time to debug the code. Hence, it is difficult to schedule. So, once the right software is available for software testing, proper test plan and the test cases are developed. So, then the software is subjected to test with the simulated test data. So, this was about the test flow of information, information flow. And the next is the test case design. During the testing, the test data and condition under which this data must be used is to be determined. Such process is known as test case design. We need to understand the scope of the testing and design. The test cases are here. Some of the points to be noted during the test case design are like they can be difficult as the initial design. It can be tested if a component conform to specification is black box testing, and can be tested if the component conform to design is white box testing. Testing is categorized here. The mainly two part is black box testing and the white box testing. In the black box testing आपको कोई भी स्पेसिफिकेशन इंटरनल कोडिंग की नहीं दी जाती है, जिसके अंदर आप कुछ भी इनपुट डाल के उसका कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंगली आउटपुट टेस्ट करते हैं. एंड वाइट बॉक्स टेस्टिंग में आपको कंप्लीट कोडिंग विजिबल होती है, जिसके अंदर आप एक एक लाइन उसकी टेस्ट करते हैं एटलीस्ट वंस टू टेस्ट ऑल कोडिंग एरिया टू चेक द एरर. This is the test case design. In the white box testing, you check the all this flow. This is the from, you can say, beginning area, and this is the end stage. From this beginning flow, that test is can move here. From this, all path is covering here to be test check whether all can be completed or not. Some portion may not be during the test cases are here. That can be difficult to as the initialize the design. कैन टेस्ट जो भी हमने कंपोनेंट जो भी ब्लैक बॉक्स टेस्टिंग में करे हैं हमने नहीं आइडेंटिफाई कर पाते हैं, बट वाइट बॉक्स टेस्टिंग में हम ऑलमोस्ट एरिया कवर कर लेते हैं. हेयर द प्रोग्राम द स्ट्रक्चर in this diagram can find out the maximum number of the path that cannot be easily identify the ones. आप जैसे यहाँ देख सकते हैं, यहाँ से स्टार्टिंग एंडिंग में जाने के लिए हम डायरेक्टली इस डिसीजन से इधर आके भी फाइनली एंड हो सकता है, बट वी हैव टू चेक ऑल द पाथ वंस टू फाइंड द एरर. Here the next is the inspection and the walkthrough. Inspection is about the code inspection, and the walkthrough are the two primary human testing methods that involve the reading or the visual inspection of the program by the team of people. That is just to check again that what we have done is correct and to find the errors. The code inspection basically that usually consists of four people. One for the of the four people that play the role of moderator, and the moderator is expected to competent programmer, but he or she is not the author of the program and need not to be acquainted and with the detail of the program. Here the moderator, which is applying to changes as to be in the software required, and there are some duty of the moderator as in front of you are the distributing material for schedule inspection. Next is the leading the session, recording all error found and ensure that error are the subsequently corrected. This was the role of the, and you can say, duty of the moderator. That is there is exercise in front of you. This question you can do it by yourself. Explain the need for inspection and list the different type of code reviews. Consider a program and perform a detailed review and list the review finding in detail. This is all about of today's session. We are now winding up here. Thank you so much. Happy learning. We learn.